You just like kind of let it spiral out of control at a
Yeah,
certain point, huh?
and that's what led into the darkest time I would say in my life was when I had never like smoked perks and stuff like that, but the last 3 months when I was addicted, I had started that tinfoil, that whole tweakers.
How do you even get into that
You know how I
mentality?
got into that? Because I was always like, oh, I'm not gonna be that bad, when I'm over here. But I was hanging around the wrong people, and
Mm.
I learned it. I saw what that they were doing, and it's like the black and white case study of just peer pressure, not peer pressure, but just bad friends had it around, and I was like, oh, what's that, and then got into it, and just led me down. I was hanging around bad people.
Yeah, especially when your mind is so soft from the fact that you're already getting fucked up, and then
Yeah.
if you're around people who are doing that kind of stuff. But so, did you get really bad with smoking perks? And was it that much more powerful? Were you able to like actually? Was it that much more
Yeah,
intense than just
yeah.
popping them?
Oh, yeah, that's what I think led me ultimately to it too. Was you build a tolerance pretty quickly, especially when you're taking that amount of drugs. Yeah, I built up a tolerance, and the bad people I was hanging around with, thank God they're not a part of my life anymore. Um, they were like, "Oh yeah, this gets you higher. You got to just smoke." And I tried it, and yeah, it did. It like broke through that first initial like that just like I was high again.
Because every drug you do, you kind of get used to
You
it after a
yeah,
while, and
yeah, and then that's what leads you to taking more, and then it just spirals. But yeah, that's basically how.
okay. So was that after the house that we're talking about in the IE or whatever?
Yeah, that was after. What had ended up happening was, yeah, you saw me at the Corona house. I would leave that house, and I would go live with I would pay rent at my other friend's house, and I just wanted to be in LA. It was a roommate situation, and that's where I got really bad. I was back in LA, back in like the thick of all the stuff, and at that house is where it would get really bad. And it was only the last 3 months that I was smoking them and stuff. And I had ran out, obviously, in the middle of the night. And I was just rummaging through like the tinfoil and stuff. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and like I don't know if it was just me, but I could start seeing like the lines. When you get like real skinny, or like when you see someone like that, like a tweaker kind of. And I was like, oh, I can't go out like this. Like this is I've been bad before, but this is like really bad. Like I'm gonna die like very very soon. And I went cold turkey, and I had like a few seizures.
That's because that's pretty common, right? If you go cold
Yeah,
turkey off
yeah,
opiates,
yeah. No, off benzos.
right? Okay.
It's actually kind of crazy. You can, for the most part, go cold turkey off of opiates, and you won't really have too bad of. I mean, besides withdrawals, obviously, but the benzos and alcohol. I wasn't on alcohol, but just benzos and alcohol, you get the seizures if you just go cold turkey. They want you to like wean off it, but it was such a wild time in my life. Obviously, I was just like, I'm done.
So how bad did the seizures affect you?
Really bad, really bad. And it sucked because my family had to see them, and my girl at the time. And it was just a clusterfuck of just wake up calls back to back. It was like, all right, I just survived a few seizures like back to back. They were scary. The thing about a seizure is like you black out. You're not there. You're just there 1 second, and then you wake up, hopefully, and I just woke up, my head hurt really bad, like the worst it had ever hurt, and you're crying because you're like, the best way I can describe it is like, you're as crazy, I mean, not crazy, you're as sad as like a human being could like feel, like I think I was like crying for like my mom, it was like real like fragile emotions right there, and it took a couple weeks to even just bounce back from the seizures, and
Right.
yeah, that's, it was crazy.
Damn. And so like during this time period though, did you totally lose touch with making music, or like what was your actual day to day like for the most part?
That's a good question. I did lose touch a lot with music. I had some projects that were planned, obviously got scrapped and stuff. I had a lot of plans, but I just felt like, well, one, I just felt like I couldn't continue that. Like I was gonna die. Like anything I was saying on the internet, just like, screw all that. Like I had to take some time off to get better, and if I even wanted to think about pursuing music again, like, yeah, of course I love music, and I'm doing that right now, I'm getting back into it, but if I would have continued to just try to push music during that time, it wouldn't have felt right.
Yeah, because it's pretty crazy. Like you have this period of time where you blew up, all of a sudden everybody knows who you are, And I mean, like the public tide of opinion just kind of like swung to the other side real quick, where it became like YouTubers just wanted to make videos about you, just like documenting your downfall or whatever. And it's like people love to do that. If they see somebody who is becoming successful or rich and they feel like that person doesn't deserve it, or as soon as they realize that people are going to click, that people are going to watch if they make a video saying something negative about somebody, that shit just kicks into overdrive. And like it was weird for me as somebody who was friends with you and had known you from before that, where it very quickly became like everybody online was just like taking every opportunity to kick you when you were down, and any little thing like, oh, some guy yells at you in a parking lot. For the average rapper, maybe this isn't even a story or it doesn't hit any of the blog pages or whatever, but with you it got really like amplified, and everybody wanted to talk about everything negative that was going on, and nothing positive. You know,
Nothing,
if there was anything good going on for you, it was just totally ignored.
I'm trying
right?
to like think of like one of my more positive stories. I can't think of one really.
Yeah, at a certain point,
maybe
it
the
felt
Cheeto
like,
thing was like
right,
lighthearted. Yeah,
it was like funny at best, but like for the most part, it was just a big magnifying glass on anything negative.
It was a lot. Yeah, to the left.
All right, so you see it. We just hit 500K. You know what that means? That means you gotta subscribe and get us to 600K, because we are dangerously close to 666K. Let's go.